Games. Board games and card games, it's what we're talking about. I got this box of card games and I am going to open it up. I am looking for my scissors. Oh yes, here they are. I was given of these scissors by a friend who's an absolute star. And I've already opened one side of this box, and now I'm going to open a other side here, and we will find out what's inside. I'm sure you can guess the answers very near. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I am Bez. It's 10 a.m.-ish UK time. Time for Bezzy Beats and Board Game Blether. And today is episode 818. And I got two totally new games today. I mean, unless something's totally wrong, I'm just going to say this is some new games. So let me try and... Okay, let's see how I should cut this. I don't want to damage it excessively. I'm excited. So like these games, these have been sent over by Rob Butler. Rob Butler works for Dice Sports, and they do a lot of printing for me. There's the seam. That's where I want to cut. And there we go. Okay, so what I do is, a while back, I decided that I would have a new game for every convention. And these are some Bezzy bargain bags. A game about setting scenarios that people would do for a different length of time. And if I dig down, there should be another thing. Here we go. Writing words on aiming to match other folk exactly 3 times. That one's on Board Game Geek already. Let me sit down. Oh. I mean, it's a small box, but it's a heavy box. There's a lot in it. So actually, I will open up these bags. I might actually talk about why they've got kind of boring looking fronts. And then but first, let me talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights. Recent highlights. Yesterday, I spent a bit of time with a super lovely friend, and I played a whole bunch of games. That's something that I'd like to tell you all about. We played 4 different games a few times, and we started off with one that I'm blown away by how much I am enjoying this. I did not expect to enjoy this game quite so much. I mean, I do enjoy abstract strategy games, but, Connect 4, am I going to enjoy something based on Connect 4? I don't know. But Connect 4 Spin, this is where it's at. It's a combination of abstract strategy, putting things over wherever, and you've got that perfect information, but then each column has 2 possible positions it can be in. So you put your piece in, then you spin the column, and of course, there's a bit of physics involved, because if you put your piece right at the end, then that forces the thing to go the other way. And you can see with the red, at the end, I popped that to try and make it spin to the bottom, and then Kerry did the same with the yellow on the bottom to make it spin the other way. Yeah, it was a delightful game. We played it 2 times. I could have kept going. Kerry was, yeah, let's play the other things that are going on. But I had a lot of fun with this one. And I find that because there's only 2 possible ways that it could go, even though it's kind of output randomness, it's not. I mean, backgammon has input randomness, by which I mean you roll the dice, and then you decide exactly how to move your bits. But here you put your piece and then you flip it. But there's only two possibilities. So that tree is small enough that I can follow it as a human mind. I can realize, hey, wait a minute. If if I don't put my red in there, then Kerry's definitely won. And I'm spinning this, and it's 50-50. Literally, I spun the second bit from this right. And if it had ended up with the red on the bottom, I would have won, as you can see, because that's 4 reds in a row. If it ended up the other way, Kerry would have won with 4 yellows in a row. There is definitely a first player advantage, but it's a joyful game. I would play this for hours and hours. Yeah, I'm honestly in love with this game. Um, what else? We had Kingdom Builder, which is something that Kerry brought along, and it's been a good few years since I played this one. The way it works, you flip over cards, and then the cards tell you what landmass you're allowed to place on. You'll either be placing stuff on the forests, on the deserts, on the flowers, or on the grass. You won't ever be able to place on the mountains or on the water unless you do it by a special means. Now, at the start of the game, for the very first turn, go anywhere you want. But for subsequent turns, if you are able to be adjacent to where you already are, you have to be adjacent. So parts of the game is trying to minimize the number of things that you're next to in order to make sure that there's higher freedom for future cards that you flip over. That's a really interesting part of it. And also then there's these special tiles that you can grab that allow you to place stuff. But again, those placements need to conform to the existing rules. But if they let you pick up existing pieces, I mean, those cards are not necessarily worse than the ones that let you place brand new pieces, because the ones that let you place existing pieces, removing the existing pieces means you can get rid of things that aren't scoring you any points, and maybe even by doing that get rid of yourself from somewhere that you don't particularly want to be. Now, I've not talked about the points. There's random boards, there's random special effects that you might be able to get from these tiles, and there's also always 3 scoring cards, and so there's a lot of modularity. I would be very interested to play a fairly similar game with maybe 2 of the same scoring cards, but one slightly changed. Yeah, I'm quite taken aback by this, and I'm glad that we got to play it together. It was such a lovely experience. And as you can see, it was 59-66. I would have been slightly surprised if I had not lost. And of course, Kerry's focus was not just on the game, but also on teaching me, because Kerry's a lovely person. We also played Bag Chow. This is something that I just got. It comes in a lovely little bag. Let me show you this. Yeah, it's very compact, and I'm thinking that I might actually take this over to Germany. Neither of us managed to work out how to win as the goats, and so I mean it's a historical game. It's a traditional game apparently from Nepal, and so I think that there must be ways to win, and I'm curious to explore this game, to see more of it, and to explore that with Xate maybe, because I know that Xate really likes abstract strategy games, so I'll be interested to see if Xate's up for it. But yeah, anyone who's like up for spending a day, because clearly this is a game that's similar to some of the Mancala variants, similar to chess or backgammon or Go or checkers. It's been around for so many thousands of years, and it wouldn't have survived if it hadn't been a good game. So I'm very keen to give it the hours of love that it deserves. As far as all I can say is that at least for new beginners, Tigers are easier if 2 beginners are playing, or at least on that day. Finally, we get Questabell. Now, Questabell, I wanted to talk about very quickly. So, Questabell, it's 2022 LDEC contest winner by Kirsten Lunde, and although the basic mechanisms of the game are done, there's a lot of level design that we're working on. So what I tried, I'm kind of exploring a little bit. I said, okay, do you want to do easy or medium or super hard? And Kerry was like, oh, let's go easy. And then, so Kerry's not a fan of word games, but said, hey, I like this because it's wordy, but it's not too wordy. You don't need to come up with specific words. You can sort of help each other. So we started off level 1 of what I called easy was placing 4, all the levels of easy, you have to make 4-letter words. So first it was just make 4 words. You're doing this by putting the cards on the left or right of 2 different rows and working on up to 2 words at a time. You really want to work on just one if you can, because then that gives you the second place to go if the other person doesn't have the letters that you need. And then also you get an idea of what the other person at least doesn't have, which is really interesting. Originally, I think it was submitted as a 1 to 4 person game. We have been thinking that with the more players there are, the fewer cards you're going to be able to take out of the deck. And it's possible that maybe making it a 3-player game should be the upper limit, so like 1 to 3. But regardless, after the initial level, then we had to use the bottom letters. Then we had to use make sure that we weren't using any S's or E's, which were all removed from the deck. Then that doesn't sound right. Let me double check. Oh yes, then we made sure that we couldn't have 2 of the same border next to each other. Then we scrapped a bit about the border, and the lower letters, but then we used all the ones, which is where we get to what I think is a lovely word, foxtrot, because starting off trying to make foxy, but then after a while, we just couldn't get the Y, and it just wasn't coming up. So rather than worry about whether we'd already used all of the Ys, which might have been possible, I wasn't keeping perfect track. I knew at least one of the Ys had gone. I wasn't sure about the others. But Kerry suggested foxtrot, which we went on with and managed to succeed. And that felt like a massive achievement. So that was really good. But then we went to the medium difficulty level. And I'm keen to, I feel like this escalation, removing cards and then doing a bit more, then a bit more, then a bit more. Now it's back to normal, but you need to make longer words. That feels really good. And 5 levels, like a shoom, poom, shoom, poom, shoom, poom. I'm a big fan of this sort of zigzag difficulty level, because if it's then it can kind of feel a bit bland. You want those moments of relief as it kind of goes down, but still a little bit higher than when you started. And then if each step is a little bit higher, then it keeps on going up, but with intermediate spikes in the middle. And so beyond the easy, I'm thinking of like a super easy mode, like maybe 2 super easy sets of 5 levels, where it could be like 5 levels for considering people who are just learning to spell with like 3 letters, and then something for people who are, maybe also a bit more complexity, but also 3 letters. And then, maybe what we played would be like the sort of third lot of levels, because I think it would be nice to extend it as much as possible and say, okay, this is the whole range of things. Someone else even suggested having a little deck of cards which says on each card, this is what's going to happen this turn, which could be a way to do it. But we'll have to see how easily we can summarize things and get across all the information, plus all the flavor text that Kirsten has written, a lovely amount of stuff. Now let's talk about brilliant things. Brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? I think that getting things through the post and physical stuff, it makes me feel like, wow, this is something that I actually made. And I'm talking about Kirsten Lunde. This is, you can see for the first time, Looking Glass Workshop and Stuff by Bez on the same card. And there's little images of the cards that we'll find outside. And then on the other one, it's like these lovely cards, which I'm really proud of. This one's based on a song. And see if you can guess which song it is. So let's open them up. This is a game about writing words aiming to match other folk exactly 3 times. Game designed by Behruz Bez Shahriari and Kirsten Lunde. Graphic design by Jack Briggs Miller. First edition, first printing 2022, limited to 50 copies. So you look at the back and straight away, hopefully it tells you what's going on. Do you like showing off your knowledge? Guessing what other players will write? Guessing what other players will know? Guessing what they will write? If so, then I suggest trying a game about writing words, aiming to match other folk exactly 3 times for 3 to 8-ish players. We played it, I mean, Kirsten's played it quite a bit at 3. I've played it once at 3. We've gone up to 8. It should definitely work with 8. It probably works with more. Like, I could imagine it working with like 10, but we want to be conservative. We're not sure. Like, we've not played the upper limits as much as we would like. This is very much a first edition. And I'm thinking that for first editions, I'm going to start just having a plain, this is what the game is. And to tell them apart, you almost have to look at the back. These are first edition Bezzy bargain bags. They are meant to be easy for me to make. But the real reason why there's no, not like a drawn art like there was here, which hopefully looks a little bit more interesting, is because I was having lots of anxiety and depression, frankly, and so I just wasn't able to do it. So lots of all the cards, there's no art from me, there's no illustrations in here, which is why it doesn't say anything about the illustrations. It was just text, and I sent that text off to Jack to make, and Jack did internal graphic design. As you can see, Jack used my font for the letters with some textures that Jack has used before. Jack made himself. So let's look inside and see how it goes. This is the first time I'm opening up one of these. I'm super excited by this, genuinely. Okay, so that's the front card, the front cover. And then it tells you a wee bit about the game. Contents, overview, a QR code that doesn't lead anywhere right now. The rules are all on one card. So the rules and then the other rules, like, you know, that's the rules of the game. Now, each card has a topic on one side, so art and design or websites online. And on the other side, it's got 2 letters. So in this example, you'd flip over a card and everyone would have to write as many things as they want, starting with A or G, about to do with cakes and spies or gadgets for spies. Cakes and pies or gadgets for spies. So you might write apple or apricot or gooseberry. Yeah. I would write those 3 things, and I'm hoping to match at least one person with everything that I'm writing. And so we would do that and see how it works. And if I match one thing, then I get 1 point. If I match 2 things, I get 2 points. If I match 3 things, I would get bonus points and get 4. And I could have written more than 3 things, but if I matched 4 or more, then I would just go bust and lose. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of every card is unique, and it's like cell phones or gemstones. I'm actually really loving this graphic design on the letters. That's a really nice job. Well, let me get rid of these brilliant things. As always, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask questions from like follow. But yes, let me get rid of my name. You know who I am. So yeah, I really love what Jack did with using the sorts of more saturated versions of these things for the letters to keep some consistency. I think that's really nice. Tasty drinks or skating rinks. In the park or in the dark. Flowers or fictional characters. France or fruit. Athletes or authors. Cardio exercise or cars to drive. Superheroes or fashion and clothes. And we've not play tested all of these as much as we'd like. And that's kind of par for the course for a busy bargain bag. I mean, yeah, it's £5, and I hope that people understand that it hasn't had as much play testing as something that, you know, as my previous non-busy bargain bag stuff. And I'm really excited to see how people play with this. So something to do with known in the USA or a musical or a play, starting with C or W. What would you write for that? What would you write for something known in the USA or a musical or a play? I mean, I'd look at that and it would depend who I was playing with. Like if I was playing with Kirsten, I might really rack my brain trying to think of any musical or play starting with C or W. I might also say, I mean, the only thing that's coming to my mind right now is clowns for some reason. Maybe because it's got C and W on the same card. And but you don't need to have them. It could be wigwams. I mean, I guess that's known in the USA. Um, Waterstones isn't really known in the USA. And you only get a minute to think about it. So sometimes you just think, oh, okay, I'm going to just write 5 things and hope that at least one or two of them will match something. So I'd probably end up writing like clowns, wigwams, Charlie, um, wetness, because at some point I'd fluster and be like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. Also, I really like the back and forth that myself and Kirsten had. It's like, we want it to be a positive game. We want it to be an entertaining game. And originally, this was some of the rhymes were from me, some of them were from Kirsten. And when we decided together that we should have 2 letters and 2 topics on each card, I suggested, well, what if the topics kind of rhymed? That could be interesting. And so we've got Hot Boss and the Best Boss. But yeah, I think it started off like hot sauce or an annoying boss, and then Kirsten said, please don't do that. It makes me have flashbacks to lots of terrible bosses. And so we changed it, and like there was a lots of stuff that Kirsten wrote. I mean, honestly, Kirsten's done so much for this. I mean, I feel like my role has mainly been as a developer. I mean, Kirsten, I'm going to say, came up with the I mean, I definitely came up with some ideas. Like Kirsten came up with all the original ideas, and then I was like, hey, that's the bit that's the most exciting. But it's not an L deck game. How about making it its own game? And Kirsten was like, yeah, that sounds good. And then I was like, hey, okay, this push your luck thing. How about it's not quite working? And then I eventually, completely independently, I was reminded of, hey, you don't always have to find unique stuff. Sometimes it's about finding similar stuff. And I said, this could be the missing thing. Having matching stuff means that people aren't going to quibble whether your word was sufficiently different or not. Because if 2 people decide independently that knitting and knitted are 2 totally different answers, then, other people shouldn't be quibbling with that because 2 people's decided, and that's the way the game works. So, like, if you decide hot sauce or the best boss, if you say A or N. So, if you said nice and like neat, it's no question of, is this a suitable thing or is it not? Because, 2 people decided themselves. And so, yeah. Anyway, so I kind of came back with this is working. I tried it out. It works well. And just try to stay in touch. I mean, Kirsten's happy for me to just record voice messages, which I really appreciate because it's easier for my brain to do that than type a lot necessarily. And came up with the idea of, well, if we have cards that are matching categories like money and cash or in the trash, like, isn't it a bit more fun if there's a bit of whimsy and if it's rhyming? I mean, obviously, the other side, it's just based on what's easiest and trying to make sure you've always got different letters. But this side is me saying, hey, let's rhyme, and then Kirsten saying, hey, let's also do in that alliteration. And so we'll see what people think of stuff. We'll see what people think of the alliteration. And if people want to buy it, then I'll have a playtest feedback form. And if you do that, you'll get like a sizable credit against some future game. So, I mean, I think it's already a really good game. And it's an interesting question, like at what point is it inappropriate? Well, at what point is it appropriate to charge people money for something? And, that's something that I would like to discuss, but maybe not when I'm talking on my own. Anyway, so final card, it's about me on one side and then about Kirsten on the other, which I love. And here it's about the game. And yeah, back cover. So that is one of the two games I got today. The other game that I got, let's have a look at this. This is one that I made myself. I say I made it myself, but I also had some ideas thrown into the mix from a Facebook chat group that time created with a few friends. It's called Making Games Such as Bezzy Bargain Bags and Other Stuff with a Little Help from My Friends. That's I think the name of the chat group. Anyway, so this is a game about writing scenarios that people would do for different lengths of time. Again, game designed by Behruz Bez Shahriari, that's me. Graphic design by Jack Briggs Miller. First edition, first printing, 2022, limited to 50 copies. So if you've got one of these, you know it's limited to 50 copies. I mean, there's a box right here. Oh. This is all the copies that there are of both of the things. So this is like 100 things, like 50 of each, just for clarity. Ooh. That's a heavy box. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to take all of those to a Gamers Gaming Getaway, like maybe 10 of each. But anyway, so again, you've got the... Oh wait, let's start with the back. So yeah, you've got some exciting stuff going on. Do you like strange scenarios, flights of fancy, learning about your friends, thinking about how long you would really do a super weird thing for? If so, then I suggest trying a game about setting scenarios that people would do for different lengths of time, for 4 to 7 players, ages 10-ish plus, about 3 minutes per player. Also needed paper, pencil, or some other way of keeping score. Oh yeah, that did say about 2 minutes per round, 10 to 30 minutes total. Also needed paper, pencil for each player to write answers and keep score, and a 1 minute timer EG on the phone. Just going back to that one. So let's look at it from the front card backwards. So we've got bits of content. The rules. The rules fit on one card. I mean, they're not the most nicely laid out. There's a bit of excessive white space, but it's a first edition Bezzy Bargain Bag. That's fine. And we've got this main card. This is the most important card. You always use this card. So why are you doing the thing? Is it for the fun of it? Is it to avoid death? Is it for all the money you want? Or is it for a tasty meal? And then you've got a whole bunch of scenario cards. All of these. So all of these cards are functionally, they're the same kind of thing. So you've got orange and yellow on one side, blue and green on the other side. It just helps you know what you're doing. So each turn, the way the game works, let me actually see if I can tilt the camera to show you this game. Let's say for a tasty meal, listen to, and I draw 4 songs. Listen to one song chosen by a Chihuahua. But you get free coffee whenever you want. Who is whilst riding a horse. And I'm allowed to answer any questions I want, or I can leave it up to confusion. So I can say, yes, the horse is included in the free coffee. You just get to ride a horse whenever you want. So how long would you do this for a tasty meal? And then other people take their cards. So these different backs. So each person has like 3 cards. That's one player. That's another player. Here's another player, and they all hopefully look unique. This orange one's my favorite one. Jack made these. Are just gorgeous. I love these, really, genuinely. Let's look at those 2 cards later. I'll choose the red ones because, why not go with red? And so then I choose how long I would do these things. I will choose how long would I do it? This is how long I would do it. And then I choose always forever. I would do it always forever. So I'm placing it so that other people can write it because I don't care about the tasty meal, but I am willing to listen to that one song list chosen by the Chihuahua. Oh, actually, if I thought about it a bit more, maybe just listening to that one song would get tiring. So I'm going to go for years and years. So I'm going to go for years and years because, yeah, the riding the horse is a pretty good perk. But listening to one song, it's like balances out. But riding the horse whenever you want, that's a good perk. And then other people put in their own thing. So like someone says, I'll do it for weeks or a few months. And then one other person says, I would do it never. No, I don't want to listen to a song chosen by a Chihuahua, even for a short amount of time. Why you've got no love for Chihuahuas? I don't know what's going on. And then someone else says, oh, well, I'd listen to it for at least a couple of times, maybe seconds and minutes. But yeah, let's say this other person said weeks or a few months. That's probably better. So what happens now is the scenario creator gets 1 point for every different answer. So they'd get they would get 1, 2, 3 points. Everyone else gets points for how many people voted the same. So this person would get 0, this person would get 1, as would this person, and I would get 0. So I'm a bit sad. I guess I should have thought that, yeah, you know what? Most people aren't as into listening to just one song as much as I am. So weeks or a few months is what I should have gone for. And just for the record, the possible answers are never no, seconds or minutes, hours or days, weeks or a few months, years and years, or always forever. And there are 2 answers per card just because it's a way of keeping the card count down. Hopefully that will work out okay. And also they are paired so that hours or days and all, like I try to make them as far apart as possible. So it's not like you can say, oh, I put down weeks or a few months, but actually meant to say years and years because the nearby things will never be together, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing that at Dave's. Well, I say Dave's thing. It's like there's a lot of other people me on in that convention, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, again, we've got a bit that's about me, a bit that's about the game, and optional variants. If you want to ask questions, or if the community wants to ask questions, you can do that. So yeah, I am really looking forward to it and seeing how it works when you've got 4 cards, well, plus the red one, and then you're thinking, okay, what should I do? Which of these starts off with the orange, and it's okay, go everywhere with a cheerful shopkeeper, Go everywhere with a cheerful shopkeeper, and now I'm flipping over my card, who is now a zombie, and everything is in slow motion. How long would you do this? Like, he wants a decent award for all the money you want. Actually, maybe I'm going to make it worse. I'm going to say a cheerful shop. Go everywhere with someone who's more annoying. A flamboyant pirate, because that sounds like it could be a bit annoying. And you also lose your hair, and everything is in slow motion. Okay, I think this is going to split the vote, because that's what I'm all about. As the scenario setter, I'm trying to split the vote. And so as a scenario setter, I'm trying to make it interesting. Other people are trying to consider what other people would do. And yes, I'm genuinely super excited to get a chance to play it. Yeah, in retrospect, these red blotches should have been more different to all the other blotches, because these ones are good. I like these. But on this side, it feels I don't know, like I feel like it could have been a bit whiter and less washed out somehow, potentially. Maybe. Because it kind of looks almost grayed. Like when I look at the vibrancy of that, I just kind of wish it were like, would there have been a way to make it vibrant but also light? I don't know. Like, it looks fine. I mean, I hope that people who get it will still have fun with it. And it's like, I'm really proud of it, and I'm really excited to see other people playing with it. And now I'm taking it to a Gamers Gaming Getaway, which I'm super, super excited by. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, over to you. What are you up to? You can share what's on if you want to. Actually, question of the day. Here's a little question before we've gone away. If you've watched this, which of the two games that I've mentioned, would you be more excited to play first? I am more excited to play this one, but that's purely because I've already played this one quite a few times, and this one I'm really wanting to see also if people manage to work out which song it was. But yeah, I'm excited for this. And yeah, hopefully people enjoy it. We'll see. So over to you. What are you up to? You can share Botany if you want to. I am heading off to a Gamers Gaming Getaway. I am going to do a bit of packing, a little bit of printing, make a meal with the stuff left in the fridge, and make sure that there's nothing bad, wash up the dishes. But there's stuff that I could do. Like, I feel like I should actually tell everyone there about these games, because now they've just come. So this is probably going to be the newest game that is there. So yeah, it is exciting, and I'm really excited to spend a future bit, the next few days, to recap and wrap up before we finish up. I've chatted about what I played recently. I've chatted about Connect 4, brilliant, Bag Chow, clearly not for everyone, but I hope that I'll get to play it with, that I'll get to play it with someone and learn it for myself, and maybe learn how to play as the goats. I talked about Kingdom Builder, which is a super lovely game, and Questabell, which I'm like, those 5 levels felt super satisfying. And then I think that if I could build a similar set of 5 levels with escalation for, maybe 5 different difficulty levels, and then maybe that's not enough. Because I'm thinking, if what we played is easy and I really want 2 before that, then like, there's sorts of medium. Like, I think I want it to get really hard. I think I'd want like 10 different difficulty levels, but like right now, just focusing on like the main three, and then we'll kind of work out which numbers those ones are. And like if there should be 10 or if it should be 45, I don't know. But like, and these two games, I'm so excited to share them with people. I'm so excited to actually get these out there and play with now that I've got them in my hand. Now I can, like, if you want these, like, I'll put them up on my shop in the next probably not today. I probably don't have the energy for that, but I'll put it up on my shop next week. And if you're excited to try it out, like I'll see how it is and make sure like how I feel about it properly, seeing people, and then I can tell people properly about it and get some quotes. I Yeah, with the first edition Bessie, also for my shop, I am going yeah, I am going to do some sort of Christmas deal. I'm thinking like if you buy 3 games, you'll get something for free. So that literally means that you could spend 15 quid and well, 15 quid plus £3 postage in the UK, you could get 4 games for £18, which is a really good deal. And so yeah, I guess that is me. And Stuff by Bez is the place where I'm going to be generally. Stuffbybez.com/streams. I mean, obviously Twitter is like in a bit of a messed up situation right now. I am also on Mastodon right also now and also co-host, but those places don't seem to be as much to my liking, let's say. Stuffbybez.com/streams. This weekend until Monday, I will be just chatting about a Gamers Gaming Getaway, and then on Monday, I will be chatting to Lo Hua Xiang. I hope that's correctly written. Lots of love. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're up to. Maybe see you tomorrow. For now, all I can say is thank you very much to, you watching, but also, Jack and Rob for helping get these to me, and Kirsten for being my co-designer. Lots of love, and bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Do. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Do. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye, everyone. Have a lovely day. Bye, bye.